right, I'm Pastor Mike from North Carolina Pathfinder Youth Organization, Lighthouse. I'd like to welcome y'all today. I'm going to try to do a review on a knife that I acquired, and I'd like us to take a look at it today. I'm doing this on behalf of Dave Roberts of the Ultimate Survival Tips on the MSK-1 that Dave teamed up with Jeff Freeman of Gerber Knives. They've been working on this project since 2014, and I really enjoy it. I've used knives several times and really enjoyed the knife. Dave designed this out of a 1/4-inch piece of solid steel full tang, semi-stainless high carbon steel D2. It's got a center clip point. It's got a raised spine in it to assist with chopping. The jimping on it, like he said, is not real aggressive. Jeff helped him with the handle, designed a really good feel with it, with micarta handles. The knife really feels good in the hand. It's got a really good finger choil for up close working, and I batoned with it several times with very little damage to the blade edge. Matter of fact, no damage to the blade edge. I shouldn't have said very little, there's none. I don't know if you can see that or not, but this piece of fat wood here was actually a pine knot that I batoned sideways. Extremely hard, no blade rolling or edge rolling on it. Come with a lanyard. Dave sent Titan paracord, which has a fine steel wire in it for traps and such, fishing line, also a piece of jute twine in there, as well as the paracord that you can gut and use for the lanyard on it. Now I'll probably change the lanyard on this knife to a longer piece of Titan paracord and put me a adjustable slip on that for that. The only problem I had out of it was really not much of a problem at all. The screws came loose on it, which I'll address at the end of this video when I was chopping a piece of oak with it. But this knife really works well. Dave done a super job on it. If I only have one knife to choose in a survival scenario, would it be the MSK-1? I would have a hard time not grabbing the MSK-1, to be honest with you. Knife feels really well. It rides really close to the body in its sheath. I love that feature on it. It almost as if there's no weight at all. And as thick as the knife is, it's like some of the interviews they did on the Blade Show. This knife does not feel real heavy in your hands. Now with any knife, you're going to have to build muscle memory to it. It's been a while since I've used a knife this year, so using it a lot today, and which we're going to see later where I used it some more. I redid this video because I had a lot of I didn't want to bore y'all to death with that. So I tried to rethink things a little bit and make the video a little bit smoother. So I'm in a little bit different of a setting here as I redone this part to keep from boring you to death with the But I did enjoy using the knife. We're going to take the fat wood right here, do some shavings with it, ignite it with a ferro rod. It's got a ferro rod striker here in the pommel. Works extremely well. Butt end pommel on it for smashing and that kind of thing. Go back to the again. But this really works well with the ferrocerium rod. The bow drill divot I love. I've not used it yet, but I've looked at this thing, and this really sets this knife apart from any knife that I had. Habilas come with one. I know the Essie Laser Strike has one. And this thing here just, what can I say? I mean, it just outdoes them all. But let's let's look at the sheath here a minute. I'm going to try to stay here in the video, but this sheath right here came with it. I've got the full system that I acquired with this purchase. I did acquire the knife and bought it for another fella, and they decided they didn't want to wait on it, so I tried to get it. But anyway, this thing rides real well. The only thing, this leather strap right here, it made it maybe a half a day, and I've done cut it almost a quarter of the way into taking this knife in and out. It's so sharp. So I'm trying to get it out of the way to get it back in there. This here probably won't end up staying on here, Dave. I'll just be truthful with you. But it does lock it in there. This thing rides really well close to the hip on the drop carry. I like that. It's got, here's my ferro rod holder adapter on it, and the mini neck knife that came with it. Super knife. These things come razor sharp out of the box, but I really enjoyed that. As far as the removal of it, love this thing. This is a rip, and it's off. This is a black Hawk belt that I use, and this thing works really well. On a high carry, you just undo this strap, pull it out, run it through here, drop it back down, and the best way to do this is just, don't worry, I'm not going to take my clothes off. Y'all can thank me later. But anyway, I found this, run it through there. Back in here if I can get my belly out of the way. Love this Black Hawk belt. Throw that in. But that to me would be the high carry up here. There may be another way of carrying it right there. I just didn't like the way it felt earlier. Also, the pouch comes with a fire tin. I carry some cotton swabs with olive oil here. Put on my lips for medicinal purposes, or maybe a cut on my arm or anything of that nature. I can oil my knife with it. I can light a fire with it. I can grease a frying pan with it. So a lot of reasons I carry that. I carry a Camellias ceramic carbide sharpener because of the hardness of the steel of this knife. I believe, you know, if it come down that you would need to maybe do something with that edge. Short of stropping it, this would be a good tool to have with you with that. That's the only drawback with the D2 or some of the harder steels. I carry my couple pieces of fat wood, a mini Bic lighter, and a button compass that I've got padded there. But that all fits well here in the pouch and carries good. Just a really good system. And like Dave said, I mean, to remove it, just unbutton it and pull it up and it's off. You can take the Kydex out, as he said, by removing this screw. I don't know if you can see that. The whole Kydex comes out. It does come with a MOLLE compatible belt clip that screws on here, and this hole down here in the Kydex that you can't see. All this can be moved over. Neck knife system. I done a first strider wrap I've ever done, not the best job. But this little neck knife would probably work real well on some chores that I have. But anyway, let's use it. Again, I don't have my 90-degree spine. That's the only thing, Dave, that I miss. You'll hear me say that reiterated again and again and again. But anyway, really fine shavings. I've used this knife and used it. I've not even stropped it yet. And it still just shaves this fat wood just as small, really as small of a curls as you want to go with it. I done some up a little ahead of time just for time's sake to put it on here. I'm going to try to bottle this up here, pile it up, so to speak, and hit it with the ferro rod and let y'all see it. But this knife handles just super well in the hand. It's just been a joy to have. I'm proud to be an owner of it. one of the first batches. I ordered this back last May during the kickoff, if you would say that. And Dave and them charged me for it in June, and I got it in June, a year later. Let me see if this is enough. Again, I'm going to use this little butt-end pommel fire striker with my ferro rod. So there you go. May not be my best fat wood in the world, but it's lighting up and going dead on this heavier piece. Some of this fat wood's not the best that I use. I ain't got a good piece with me. There you go. Really good fire striker here on the pommel. Very well pleased with that. Didn't take me long to make those shavings. Like I said, that edge feels still. I mean, it'll get you. It'll get you. But done a super job. Hats off to you, Dave. But you're gonna see here in just a minute. We're gonna go and we're gonna chop a small oak tree with it. And it was dead, sort of at the top. It's about half living, so it's hard. And we're going to do a little bit of a fishing gig with it, and I'm just going to show you how long it took me. I didn't work on that thing. I've never done one before, but I didn't work on it 15 minutes. But I love this system. I think they've done a super job on it, and I'm proud to be an owner of it myself. There's a lot of good knife companies, PSK. Again, I may say later, I'm not sure what I've got at the end. Well, I'll just save it to the end. But anyway, let's go see what she'll do now. All right, this here looks like a small, fairly dead oak. I'm going to go ahead and chop it, and we'll see what we got here. That's about as hard as you can get. Timber. There we go. That oak there is dead here. It's live here in the bottom, but here in the top it's pretty dead. You're not going to get any harder than that, folks. Knife done super well. Don't see any curling on the edge. Still this razor sharp. Okay, well, let's get here and let's see if we can't baton this a little bit. And I'm going to use my saw and get this and try to maybe make us a fish gig. I've started removing some material here. I've elected to do the chopping because, like I said, I am dealing with oak. Again, I've never done one of these before, so I'll go ahead and laugh if you want to. I actually probably could benefit it well. I ain't tried it. Very possible, I guess, for me to mess one of these up. This is what's really nice about the point, the fine point on it. Need to probably try to do a cleaver pull on this. Chest pull. This is some hard stuff now. I don't want this to really reflect on the knife. But I mean, maybe it does reflect on the fact that it's a good knife. It's making pretty quick work of this oak. And I know y'all probably not liking my knife safety here. I don't know how much of this I'm even getting in here. Let me get down here. I can really see no longer than I've been working with this. And this here, got this one down pretty good here. Probably just left with putting a point on it. Of course, you know, them with harden that. What I've sort of done is, I found out this, I've left these closed. I should have left the whole thing closed really before I baton it. And then just hacked it off to a point and then maybe batoned it and split it into my 4 places. Like I said, I've never done one of these before, and probably not going to finish this one on video. But as you can see, now to get in here, I'm going to have to split it apart. And actually on both of them, but you can see how nice that one's coming along. But no problem removing this material. Dave, I might change my mind on this before it's over with. But of course, you know, after we'd do this, we'd fire harden it. If y'all notice when I'm stopping, I'm thinking, because I'm bad about cutting myself. And y'all can probably say, well, ain't no wonder why you're handling that knife. But the old saying goes, it is what it is, right? So actually I'd work with the outside. This one here, I did do some work on the inside, you can probably tell, but with this knife. And but it's coming along real good. I'm not going to bore you with the whole thing. I can sit here and piddle and whittle. But I'd make me some spacers and put in there, and then take me some bank line, and I'd wrap it right here to keep from it splitting any further. And then spread this apart to give me the spread that I want. And then I'd go back in here and finish these up. But that bank line would help keep it from splitting on down the shaft. And then I'd probably go ahead and strip this bark off of it. I did this a little bit, but I'll let y'all see this. I mean, got some knots up in here. No problem. This knife will do what he says it'll do. That little knot right there I have to work through. I hope it's in the frame, I don't know. But like I said, not been using my knives a whole lot. It's been hot outside. Hand has got a little bit weak, but y'all seen the progress that I've made thus far in about what, 15 minutes maybe. So this knife is capable of doing, I believe, everything that Dave said it would do. Okay, I don't know how much of what we got. This will do a recap on everything. Made quick work of this fish gig, frog gig, bird gig, whatever you want to call it. I've never made one. And y'all could probably tell by me chopping and hacking on it, but I didn't go skimpy. This is oak. Y'all seen how quick it went through it, and pretty much dried, sort of semi-half dead oak. It might be half dead, but so you know it's going to be harder. So anyway, went through that. Very pleased with the knife. So Dave, you want to know what I think about the knife, if it even matters. Not that I'm a knife expert, but the rings on the carry here, I would like to see stainless or brass, something heavier on this here. It's not failed me, and may never fail me, but this looks a little weak to me. The strap, that made it about a half a day. This is not the first day I've used it. Matter of fact, folks, that knife has not been stropped or anything. That's like the third time I've had it out here, and most of it was doing fat wood. You've seen the fine curls I got with it. But anyhow, it cut that strap, I mean, almost plumb in two when I got it out. Love the mini neck knife. That would be the ticket to finish that up. But again, if you only have one knife that you could have, what would it be? So I like the little neck knife. I like the kit, this kit for the pouch on the front. I've got a Camellias sharpening stone carbide ceramic for this knife, being as it's D2. I believe probably would need to carry something like that. It is big enough for an Altoids 10, even bigger. I got fat wood, a mini Bic, and a button compass tucked away in there. I carry olive oil and cotton swab. Main reason being is I can use olive oil on this for medicinal purpose, chap lips, rub on a wound. I can grease a frying pan with it. I can make fire with it, and hey, I can oil my MSK-1 with it. I really like that too. But love the knife. If you only had one knife in an ultimate survival situation, what would it be? Well, Dave, honestly, I love the knife. The only other thing would be, do we need to put fix and wax or something on these screws? I had a couple of them work loose during the chopping of this oak tree. Not like we need to be going around chopping trees, but hello, one knife, right? Love everything else about this knife. The only thing that I miss too is the 90-degree spine. Dave, if it had a 90-degree spine and I could only have one knife, what would it be? This would be pretty much close to being my #1 pick, if not my #1 pick. I love this knife. It has lived up for the most part of my expectations. This here does the ferrocerium rod really well. Not busted anything with a butt end pommel, but I have no doubts it'll do it. I've not used a micro survival kit on the inside. I think that is a really good idea. I appreciate Dave putting that much thought into it, and Jeff, for y'all getting that in there. But that is for emergency situation and all of that. This here, Dave gave that the Titan paracord, which has got your fishing line, your wire, and a jute twine in with your 550 paracord. That was a good thought. Appreciate that too, Dave, for y'all that come up with that. But I will probably switch this out to some more Titan paracord. But I want this split here, and I want to put me a paracord adjustable band on that. But I love this knife. Love the sheath. Really, with this drop carry system, that knife hugs your body. You don't even know it's there, folks. And I'm not exaggerating that. And for that kind of steel, that's a lot of steel there. And you do not know that knife is on your side. Do not mind carrying it one bit. There's a lot of other good knives out there. I love PKS Knife Shop, Habilis. I love them. Good lands. There's so many. Battle Horse, LT Wright, and all that they've got going on. Just a lot of good knife makers out there. But Dave, you know, you was right. To me, you come really close to knocking this out of the park. And if that sacrificed what you felt like the 90-degree spine would have sacrificed the integrity of this knife, I can understand then why you done it. Had I rather had it there and it not sacrificed the integrity, yes I would. But love this system, folks. Dave's a good man. Jeff, I appreciate your help with him. Jeff Freeman, man, y'all done a super job on it. And anyway, until later, from the North Carolina Lighthouse Pathfinder Youth Group, this is Pastor Mike. I hope you enjoyed what little we did here today. God bless. So long. Have a nice day.